What lies ahead for the future of boxing? I'm Penny Lane, and In the Driver's Seat starts now. Welcome to In the Driver's Seat, where we delve into the lives of extraordinary individuals who drive their industries forward. Today, we're honoured to host an iconic figure in Australian boxing. In addition to his ringside accomplishments, Brian Amatruda is a seasoned property developer, the current CEO of the Melbourne Pavillion also. Welcome, Brian Amatruda. How are you?
It's always nice to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on the show. So tell us a little bit about your career, Brian, and where it all started.
Penny, I've had a very diverse type of things. I basically worked for myself since I was 18 years old. I've done many things, like I've brought the first water into the country. It was called,
I didn't know that. What was it?
Pure H2O it was called.
Yeah.
It was very hard to sell those days because people still had the idea you go to a tap and drink water.
Yeah.
So no company did it, so we bought it in, and it was a struggle, but we did get it national, and we sold it off to a national company. As with anything, as it got successful, people like Coca-Cola would block us using the fridges.
Yes.
So obstacles come up that we had, and you'd have logistics. If someone wants to buy a box of water in Frankston, it's 40 k's away. It doesn't make sense to do it because you'd lose on the scale of transport. So we had to get over a lot of things we didn't anticipate.
Yeah.
But we put it into Coles, and it went quite well, and it expanded, and from then on it we obviously got it national, and we sold it.
That's so good. You really have had an interesting career. And what got you into boxing?
Boxing was, there's quite a few things came after that, but what boxing was, I was trained in the gym, and the trainer was having trouble getting his fighters fight. So it's a little bit clicky type thing. It's like who you know, how you get on. It was a pretty closed on TV networks.
Yeah.
So I decided to, I liked the trainer. He's a great guy, and he was training me, and I thought I'd do a show to help him, basically, with his fighters. I saw the frustration, the fighter couldn't get on. So we did the first show, and we certainly caused a bit of a ruckus the way we did it. So we did it all corporate from day one.
Yes.
So we'd never done a show in a town hall or we had food service from start.
Yes.
And had a lot of problems with the boxing community because
it was so different.
Yeah, they're saying you're catering for your elitist corporates.
Right.
And I say, but the corporates give you the money to actually advance the fighter.
Yes.
Because, so we've always done good venues like Shed 14 at Docklands, and obviously Pavillion, and we did some great venues. But it was all sit down dinner from day one, and that's the only way we've done it.
And that's the only way you've done it.
Now everybody in Australia does it. They all do it that way now. Everyone's got food and drink.
Yeah.
Before it was pie and chips, and you'd go to the fights and you'd be too worried about you look the guy that way. You might throw a drink at you or something because it was a pretty rough crowd.
Yeah.
And it balanced itself out, and now it's I always put it as like going to a wedding with a boxing ring in the middle. It's all corporate, sit down, fine dining.
Do you think that's changed the way boxing is seen in Australia from having those kind of crowds at the boxing?
Yeah, I suppose we're a niche market in Australia, and the rest they do more of the, you buy a seat and sit there, and that's what they do in stadiums. But yeah, I think it helps. I always say to the fighter, it's easier to sell one table than 10 tickets. You only get one person to buy, and then let them. It's almost like a distribution.
Yeah.
So once they buy the table, they can go and they can take care of the other 9 people.
And do you actually go out there looking for raw talent? And if so, how do you spot that?
We get approached by a lot of people, a lot of trainers say, look, I've got this young kid going to come along. There's some outstanding talent out there in the amateurs, and you tend to find who they are. It's like with any industry you'll hear what's going on. And but yeah, look, we've been lucky. We've had some great fighters with us. And it's a fine line between, I like to deal with good people.
Yes.
So the fighter might be a great fighter, but he's not a good person. I don't want to deal with them.
Right. Okay.
I want good people.
Yeah.
So I always say to fighters, have fun. If it's not fun, don't fight.
Yeah, okay. From my experience of boxing, boxers get a bit of a bad rap, and you know, all the ones that I've met have always had big hearts and worked really hard as an athlete. What would you say to people that don't respect boxing as a sport or the athletes
Well, you know,
themselves?
it is an Olympic Games sport, and you know, we cheer them when they're there. But this country, around the world, everywhere, if you go to any big fight, anywhere in England, Saudi Arabia is now the new place they all go to.
Right.
You know, you've got every celebrity in the world there. George Clooney, Brad Pitts, you know, Jack Nicholson, all these guys are there. And it's a big event, but in Australia, you're lucky to get an article in a newspaper.
Yeah.
You know,
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's a bit of monopoly at the moment. You've got Fox are with one group, and so the TV part is shut unless you're with them.
Right.
So there's some people doing it, like you know, there's Angelo Coe doing Channel 7 at the moment. We're talking to Channel 9.
Just started.
We did Fox for a lot of years too,
Yeah.
but it was a monopoly. Anyone could have it. So if you got a guy and you say, I want to put him pay-per-view TV, you can't unless you go through that channel.
Yeah, okay. Do you think there's anything that can be done to change that? With even females coming into boxing, has that changed anything?
The females? No,
Yeah.
look, I've done about 4 or 5 world champions in females, and we did it a very long time ago. And the females are always the best fights because they tend to have more heart. They don't want to say heart. They're non-stop action.
Yeah.
And you always get great fights with females. And that's, you know, but you can be a female, you can win 5 fights, fight for a world title. Whereas a male, he has to run his whole course. So the males are going to take, you know, 5 to 10 years to get that most probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, female boxing's good. It's not everybody's cup of tea. And you know, there's some great female fighters, and there's some that you know, the use of sexuality, which, you know, I mean, they all go on about time to change, but a lot of them are using that at the moment. You know,
Yeah, okay.
but look, it's they're all part of the mainstream now, and they've done their own main cards. They've done Madison Square Gardens as main events as females. So
Yes.
you know, it's here to stay, and yeah, you know, they deserve to be there as well. But you know, the males are. It's a hard slog for a fighter in Australia.
Yeah,
it's
I think
hardest
it is.
to get.
It is hard. And getting to the Olympics, Australia, we've won a bronze and a silver before at the Olympics. Do you think we stand a chance at Paris this year?
Well, they won a bronze last time with Harry Garside, and it was like 40 years, I think, before that with, I think it was Spike Cheney.
Was it?
So they had 2. It's, you know, anything can happen. I mean, Harry's a good chance this time. He went professional for a while, and then he went back to amateurs. Anything can happen. But there's a lot of great fighters out there, and
Who's the ones to watch at the moment?
well, there's, like I said, well, Harry is probably our favourite, and I think there's a heavyweight guy, like a Samoan boy who's they've got big reps on, but you know, I don't think it's going to change that much, and it's, you know, I believe it's politically corrupt, the sport in boxing in the Olympics.
Yeah. In what way?
Well, look, you know, some of our fighters, you know, they've definitely won, and they get robbed, and it's a little bit. Yeah, I don't think it's going to change that much, but you know, hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 medals this year. Hopefully.
What would you say to any mums that are thinking when their kids want to get into boxing? I've got my little boy is almost 10, and I'm sure he would love to get into boxing. What would you say to any parents that are worried about their kids getting into the sport?
Well, my children did that program, so they went to the gym, and it was for self-defence, because I thought, well, you want to be able to handle yourself, and I always say to the kids, look, you know, and they did it for many years, but I say, all the training you do is to basically run away.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to fight someone, because if you can fight, you've got more of a problem, because they're going to stab you or shoot you or hit you with a bottle if they know you can fight. So what I say to them is, look, you know, if you have to defend yourself, you will.
Yeah.
But it's got to be the nature of the person too. I mean, if you're a good person, you're probably not going to want to fight anyway, and you can sort of, you know, trouble you can smell. You know, you know when you're going to have trouble, and I think it's good. I think every child should have some. I'm sure there's. Look, I've got this young kid that I look after at the moment, and he's. I don't mind saying it because I've told it to him the other day.
Yeah.
He's 46 kilos. Very small kid, and I said, he came to my show, and I said, you know, when you came along, people laughed when you got up there. They were all laughing at him. You know, who's this little looked like a boy?
Yeah. What advice did you give him?
Well, he's now cheered. He's the most popular fighter we've got.
Who is he?
He's got a guy called Carl Lou.
Yeah.
And they love him. Like, everyone loves this kid. It's like he's gone from, and I'm sure I haven't asked him, but I imagine maybe he got bullied at school. You know, kids are just mean, you know that.
Yeah, gosh, they can
but
be.
this kid now, he's a cult hero. Like,
that's so good.
They just, you know, he's my most popular fighter.
Yeah.
And they just absolutely love him, and that's how it comes from change. You've gone from, you know, you probably had and I don't know, once again, I haven't asked him that, but I did say to him the other day, you've gone from being laughed, don't take offence,
yes,
but they love you now. You're the most loved boxer in Victoria at the moment.
Lots
they just
of resilience and keep going.
Oh,
is there any fights that's coming up that you're looking forward to or are really excited about?
No, look, you know, look, boxing's a funny thing. I've given 18 odd years to it.
Yeah, you've been in it a long time.
Yeah, look,
you?
it's and it's not what I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so just
I know you're a very successful businessman.
I don't live off boxing, and I don't make money on boxing. I invest in boxing. So
would you say it's like a passion project?
It's always been a passion. So what's happened is that boxing is one of those things where people get in their ears. We can do better. Come with us. We'll take you here. Well, let me tell you, anyone who's ever left has been beaten within 2 fights. That's with me anyway, 100%. I actually call it a curse. People ring, oh, they got the curse again. They're going to get beat because I know how to match you, but I know how to lose too. So I know they're going to lose. You know, they overmatch because these people get in their ears because, you know, the sport, it's all around the world like that, by the way. It attracts a certain element that will promise the world and you know, give you an.
How do you connect the matches?
Well, this is the issue I've got at the moment. We've got a new board in place, combat sport, and this is the frustrating bit. You know, I've done more shows in Victoria than anyone in Victoria. That's a fact. And I've matched. That means I match ball fights. So a new board come along. They're basically government now, so it's all government run. And this new concussion thing, which is a serious thing, we admit that. But I have a saying that you can't get in the water without getting wet. Right? You're going to get punched in the head. That's what you do. So what they do now is, they'll overrule my matches, and they go, oh, he can't match. That guy's had 5 losses, and that one's had 10 wins. And I go, but the guy with 5 losses fought 5 champions. The guy with 10 wins fought nobody. This guy the other guy 10, he would be 10-0.
Yes.
He would never win a fight. And I know the matchups, but they've never, most of them never been to a boxing show.
Yeah.
But they'll overrule your boxing and your matchup. And I think that we don't have many boxers in Australia.
Yeah,
it's a very small field.
I want to keep talking to you because we're almost out of time, but I've just got one last question for you. What's been your proudest moment in your whole career?
I've got a guy, and I say this, Kane Watts.
Yes.
He's a cruiserweight. He was a dear friend of mine. He overachieved. So we fought for a world title in France in front of 21,000 people. The president was there.
Wow.
You know, when we aimed with him, we were trying like a Victorian Australian title. When he won the Australian title, it was probably my proudest thing that we got there. So
congratulations.
And you know, his ability at the time wasn't good. His ability is fantastic now. You know, he's actually a champion, but at the time it wasn't. And over all those years of dedication, he got to where we had to go.
Yeah.
And winning that was a highlight of, you know, he didn't win the world title, but you know, we've done many world champions. But you know, just taking a guy that was you know, pure heart that had a go, they got that achievement, and guys with much more talent never got there.
Never got there. Thank you so much for your time, Brian. It's so lovely to have you on the show.
Problem. Thanks, Penny.
In the Driver's Seat is brought to you by the Perfect Cosmetics Company. Join me next time to learn from more industry legends about how you can take the wheel and steer your life in the right direction.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.